All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you are still there, hanging out with me. It was awesome, so much fun with Ravi just earlier. We did our regular machine learning for net developers session, and that was so much fun. But now I'm going to go back to my baby in some ways, the MLOps.NET library, and continue contributing to that, hang out with you on a Saturday morning here in the US, and just having fun with it, honestly. So if you're joining in again from the previous session, welcome back. If you are joining in for the first session today, welcome as well. And we'll see kind of how far we get today. Definitely dump questions in the chat as I go along here. Don't be shy. I am here to talk to you. This is more fun when you're around than not. Cool. Good morning, Dave. Awesome. Welcome. Did you join the session before, or is it the first session today? Regardless, you are more than welcome to the stream today. We have had some fun things I want to look at today for sure, and kind of get into some of the issues that we have handled here. So without further ado, I'm going to switch to our actual screen today on the things you want to get going in here. So that should be fun. Cool. All right, welcome. So got a couple of things that we've done through the last week and so here that we got going. We can see that we have divided nicely to source and test, and we have multiple projects now. It almost looks professional. It's pretty cool. And yesterday we went ahead and added the what's it called? Integration test into our CI pipeline, which is good. So what I want to do today is kind of merge the PR that we pushed yesterday for refactoring the MLOP context here into separate buckets. So we can merge that to development to make sure that we have a solid base here, and we'll pull the main branch to develop from. Hopefully that will get us last things. Nice. And we're good to go. Hey, how's it going, Yogi? Good to have you on the stream. How's your day been going so far, or the weekend? Anything fun happening? I'm trying to avoid garden duty, so staying inside in my basement here is a way of avoiding garden duty. We'll see how long that lasts. But so far so good. It's a pretty day outside. I should get out a bit later. But not right now, because now I'm hanging out with you. Alright. So, couple of things here. We should pick something to work on today. Nice. Good. We can do either a binary classification example, which I think could be useful for some, but we can also use something more coding. So we could do like adding runtime to our training and run objects. We can start looking at SQL Server support, for example, which will be a bit bigger, but could be kind of fun too. We could look at running our examples in a CI build into a separate workflow. That would be more of a GitHub Actions DevOps task, not so much machine learning and other things here. Thank you. Thank you. It's summertime. I don't use Instagram much, Yogi. I'm not that kind of person, sorry. Twitter is where I live. I live on Twitter. So what are you kind of in the mood for today, Dave and Yogi, since you're both on the chat here? Are you more in the mood for doing examples? Are we doing more of the adding capabilities for the tool? Anything you're particularly looking at? Otherwise, I'll just pick one, and that's completely fine too. I think first of all I want to look at Yogi's comment here. I think AJ's comment here, because I think he added a comment last night here. Suppose method which is nice to form a table. Yep. Okay, that makes sense, AJ. Maybe we'll do that later. Alright, so I'll pick one to get started with here, and we'll kind of get that going at least. So one thing that we could do is is doing the runtime. But AJ put a good comment here actually 2 days ago. I think we still want to capture runtime though. So this issue right here is about capturing the runtime of an experiment to make sure we kind of know how long it takes. Now we're thinking of doing is just adding a new property to our run object, which is a good way to go through our code and get that done. So we'll try to do our best here to fix a couple of issues. Alright, but we'll start with this one. So run duration is definitely something we want to track. Maybe that's something that someone cares about, so we'll go ahead and do that. The first thing we want to do here is make sure I have no changes by mistake. So let's see what changes I have. I don't know what that is. Undo commit. Undo changes. Okay. Perfect. Alright. So if you want to add training time, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add that to our entities. And in our case, that would be in our run entity that we need to add this training time here too. And super simple, we'll add a new property here, and then we'll need to implement it in every provider and in every way here. So we'll call it training time. I would we could either do it in time span, or we could do it like in int here in number of seconds. I feel like it should be. Does anyone have any recommendations? Do you want to use time span or seconds? I do it manually, Yogi, every time. I go and update my Twitter name when I'm live. It's a lot of manual work here to stream for sure. The setup time is about half an hour each time. But it's fun, it's worth it. Alright, so I will do training time in seconds here. I think that makes sense. We can also do time span. I'm worried, but the issue with time span is that I'm worried that that won't be something we can save in the Cosmos DB provider. So let's Google that real quick, because I think there's a chance that it's not a supported data type. Data type Cosmos DB, because you want to make sure it gets saved properly here. But if it is, then time span is probably the best way of storing this. And I think there's a list here somewhere. It is actually, yeah, it's a mechanical keyboard. It's one of the cheaper ones. I can't remember what it's called, but it was one of those cheaper ones. It's comfortable for your hands for sure. Yes, it has lots of light on it, and it drives people crazy, I think, when they see it. But it's a fun keyboard. Alright, let's see data types. So we're trying to find if we can use this time span in a Cosmos DB. And I know there's a documentation for this somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I'm gonna search for list property, because I think that's the way I found it last time. And see if we can find it. Okay, functions, datetime. Okay, that is good. Well, I think what we can do is we can try a time span, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least we have a way of measuring this. So we'll call this training time, and we'll remove this one, we don't need that. And we'll go ahead and implement this. So we have two storage providers right now. We have our SQLite storage provider and our Azure one. And I'll start by doing that in our Azure one here. And this one right here. And we'll see that we implement this. So we'll have to implement this explicitly to get the last thing here. And we will just do that. And we don't need any comments on this one because it's an internal sealed class, so we don't get any warnings on this by doing that. Alright, And the same thing has to go with the SQLite implementation. We'll just copy this one over to make sure we have that properly set up here. Okay, so we got our training time. Now we need to implement this training time in some ways. So how do we want to set this from a user's perspective? That is something we should discuss, I think. We got our MLOps builder here, and we got our MLOps context that we now have different functions. And I do need to get the latest here because that's not the latest. Am I on the wrong branch here? That is what I'm worried about. I think I'm on AJ's branch, and that's not where I want to be. So I need to, or sorry, this is the one I'm on. So what I'm concerned about here is that I don't have the changes I had before here, because what I would have had here is different catalogs here for our changes. So let me close this and reopen it, because I think we're missing something vital. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm opening the wrong one, that's why. Yep, exactly. It's a Red Dragon. That's a good one. I like it. It's affordable and still good. Alright. So we'll have to do that again here. Sorry about that. Add the runs here. Time span. Training time. Get. Set. Call it training time. Let's implement this. Now we're in the right branch here, which is good. I should have figured that out earlier. It's stupid that I didn't see that. Alright, put this on our entities in Azure first of all. Let's make this a public property. And the same thing for SQLite. And we're good. Alright, nice stuff. So let's go ahead and implement this in our methods here. So how would we set training time? Well, that's a good question. Because I posted it, that's why it's a good question. But if you look at our MLOps context, here we can see that we have different catalogs for different things here, and we do have one for training, we have one for models and evaluation and lifecycle, and this would definitely go into the lifecycle catalog because that's just where it will be, because this is where we handle experiments and runs. So I think what we should just do here is create a method called set training time, and we'll just expose that to the world instead. Or actually it should probably be under, I wonder if it should be under training, because that's kind of where it would be. But in some ways it's more like life cycle, because you need to wait for the whole life cycle to complete before you can actually set the training time. So I think here is probably the best place for it. So we'll create a method called set training time. It will take a time span. And it would take a run ID, otherwise we don't know where to put it. Okay, and sets the training time for the run. And then all we would need to do here is some kind of method in the metadata store called set training time with the same parameters, so we would just kind of delegate that out to whoever wants to do it, which will be our two storage providers. And we'll go ahead and implement that in our interface here. We'll go and look at that. So, okay. We'll move over a comment there because we can use that and just do inherit doc in here and thing instead. Actually, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Alright, good. So now we need to implement this one in our respective places to make sure it works both for Azure as well as for SQLite. So we'll do that by going to our storage providers and getting that set up properly. And we'll start off with Azure one, because I think that's going to be the difficult one. And it will be in here. And this one should fail because we haven't implemented the interface. We can click Control dot and then implement interface explicitly. That should create a new method down here. Oh, that's not what we wanted to do. That one should be better, hopefully. Okay, good. And we'll say here that please do inherit doc for this, which means it will take the documentation from the what's it called? The API instead. Okay, so now we want to get this. So what we want to do here is we want to get the run. So we can type it out here, get run. Run. We want to set training time. We want to insert or merge. That's kind of the operations you want to do here to get this working, I think, in SQLite. Sorry, in Azure. And I think we can do is probably use one of these methods right here to do it, because we already have a create get runs method here, and we can probably create a specific get run method instead that is very specific, and we'll use that. Or we can use something else here, because I think Luis created a method for get experiment here, like this, and that would also be a way of getting it. But I think for simplicity's sake, we're going to use get run instead here. So I will go ahead and copy this, make it more simple. We'll call this get run ID, and we may make it public, I'm not sure yet, but for now we'll leave it open. We'll get the run table, we'll get the first or default here, that is where run ID matches that of that. So make it simple, and we'll just return the run here. We're learning. Alright. And we don't need to return list, we'll just return one here instead. Alright, so that should give us a run, and I'm not sure if we want to expose this yet to the world. I think we can expose it for now, and then we can close it up later. Yeah, let's expose it to the world. Why not? We may need it. It does not hurt. So I'm gonna add it to the interface here under get runs, and I will call this get experiment. And I'll just make sure I separate this out a bit, because it's difficult to know otherwise where things start. Don't like that. Okay. And we should probably implement multiple interfaces here to segregate some of these things, because it's too much stuff. Okay, so get runs is here. We'll add get run instead here, specifically. And we will say get run by run ID. And we'll need that later anyway. Okay, so let's go back to our implementation here. So now we can say run existing run, and we'll say get run ID, and we'll check that if existing run equals null, throw new invalid operation exception. does not exist, to make sure we properly know that you are making a mistake. All right, a sanity check. So without that, we did this. Now it should be simple as just saying, okay, run training time, run equals time span. Alright, and then we need to insert and merge this, so we'll do await, and this should be set runtime sync to make sure we adhere to our naming standards. This will be an async method of type task, and we'll go ahead and try to insert this. Hopefully this works. Insert and merge async, run, name of run. Okay. Let's see if this is actually working. It may not, because I am passing in an interface instead, and that's not going to work. Because here we're doing a T entity instead. So I need to cast it if I want to use this method. Okay. That is okay. Alright, not the prettiest, but that should work. Alright, so good. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing now for our SQLite implementation. We'll add some unit tests for that, and we will see if we get this to work as expected. So let's go to our SQLite implementation and do the same thing here. So storage, SQLite data store here. And we'll go ahead and implement this interface. We need 2 of them right now, so we have 2 methods. The first one that we're missing is getRun, and it's here. And we'll just do the same thing here, but it'll be more specific. And we'll say run ID instead. It should be ID we're looking for, and it should be the first one here. First, or default. And we don't need to cast that, I think. Okay, that should be good. And okay, that is fine, I like that. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll do like existing run, and actually we can copy paste a bit of the changes here, because it's going to be fairly similar logic. Get run ID. If you can't find it from an exception, we'll then set it, and that's good. But now instead what we'll do here is we'll open a new context here, and we'll go ahead and store this one here. Let's see. And actually I wonder if it's just easier to do this in one place here. I think so. I think for our case we're just going to do it in one place here. We'll do existing run. We'll get because then like that will only open up one context. That'll be better. Runs. Check the ID here, run ID. We will move this in here. So if it's not there, then we are in trouble. We will move this one in here and say, okay, go ahead and set it. And we also will go ahead and maybe put this in a separate bracket just because it looks cleaner. Actually, let's go ahead and keep it as it was. Alright, and then we can probably call save changes sync here. And that will ensure that we are okay. And we'll wait that to make sure we have our method set up properly. And this will be an async one with return task. go ahead and update our interface here, because I think that's not currently the case. So that would be a task that we're returning, and it may complain here. Yep, returns. Okay, so let's see if this builds at all, first of all, or if it's failing when it's building. Let's do that real quick here. I'm hoping that will work. Okay, nothing failed. That's pretty good. Better than I thought it would be, at least. So let's go ahead and add some unit tests for this. So we have some here for the SQLite one. I will add some tests here. So the first one we would like to do here in SQLite is to make sure that actually, let's add a unit and an integration test here for this. I think that's the best way right now. So integration test, and add one right here. Test method called public async task set training time async sets training time on run, and we'll do this by using a simple AAA pattern. Arrange active search for these things, and we will go ahead and create a unit under test here, and that will be a new MLOps builder. Use SQLite. So we'll go ahead and change this, chain this on top. I feel like I'm missing something here. Okay, there it is. Thank you for the follow, Doda. Good to have you on the stream today. Go ahead and not do that, and do build. I'm building some cool stuff. So I'm building a tool here for, let's see. I'm working on an open source tool for machine learning DevOps. It's called MLOps, and the tool I'm building is called MLOps.net, and it's going to handle the life cycle of machine learning model, if that makes sense to you. That's really cool stuff. You're more than welcome to contribute if you want to. We have quite a few contributors already, and we have issues open for those that needs help and up for grabs, and I try to add new ones constantly. But in general, what it's going to do is going to track. I'll send you a link. Come on. It's going to track the life cycle of a model. So meaning that we will have things like evaluation metrics being tracked, the model itself going to be tracked, and we'll have different storage providers. So right now we have like a storage provider for SQL, for Azure. We have a local file share, we have table storage, and we have SQLite, and we'll keep adding things. And eventually we're going to add a client in Blazor to view the data that we store and manage the lifecycle for deployments and those kind of things. But right now there's just a big gap in this space here. And we probably will also add an AWS provider as well. So that's something that someone is more than welcome to contribute with as well. We're trying to make it very agnostic, so you can use whatever backing you want. So you see here we have a main package here to the right here that manages a lot of our stuff. But Azure and SQLite will be different. And yes, this is a Microsoft shop for sure. I'm writing in C#, and this is machine learning in C#. So yeah, sorry if you got to the wrong place. But it's useful. It's stuff we need to get done. So I do a lot of machine learning in C#. I'm on Windows right now, yes, but this can run. This application can run on Linux if you want to, or Ubuntu, or Mac. It's not tied to Windows at all, so you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah, you can use. I mean, you can run it on. It's .NET Core, so you can run it on whatever machine you want. You're not tied to Windows, and you're not even tied to. Let's see this one. Not tied to Visual Studio neither. You can use Visual Studio Code as well if you want to for development. And And honestly, I think we actually need people contributing that don't use Windows, so you can make sure it works properly on Mac as well. Okay. So what I'll do here is do this. Sorry, I'll continue doing a bit of code here, but definitely chime in with questions if you have any. I'm going to create a new run here. Well, we're not squashing commits yet, unfortunately. We should probably do that. But right now we're just doing a lot of them. So, okay. Cool. Well, you're more than welcome to join us. We are a fun bunch that try to just make this as easy as possible. Test. No, I don't think you need any. You can pull it directly if you wanted to. The only thing, I mean, so we're using SQLite for a storage provider, and that's going to work by itself with a package. And if you want to use an Azure storage provider for test, you will need an Azure account, but it's really not required, and you don't need to use it at all, actually. So pulling the branch or forking it and then pulling it down would just be fine, and then building it. The thing you will need is .NET Core 3.1 SDK. So you need to download this if you don't have it already. .NET SD Core. Not sure how familiar you are with .NET or not, but you can just pull this down, the SDK here for your Mac right here, and that would allow you to have everything to build on it. And I would probably suggest that you use Visual Studio Code in Mac. Yeah, probably fine. But yeah, I mean, one of the things we have right now in our issues is adding a SQL Server storage provider, but it would be really cool if we can add an AWS one as well, like S3 buckets, I'm thinking, for storing the models. And I can't remember what the alternative is in AWS for NoSQL database, but some kind of NoSQL database will be good as a backing, and then S3 bucket for our files, our models itself. Cool. JetBrains is a good company. Okay. You can use Mongo. Yeah, I mean, that's up for discussion. MySQL is also an alternative. I think we already have like a local provider. MySQL we can use, of course, in the cloud if you wanted to. So we're using SQLite for like a simple SQL database. In Azure, what we're using is something called Cosmos DB, which is a NoSQL alternative as well. That is can partition real quick, and it's a good alternative. Let's see actually what the alternative would be in AWS. Alternative. And okay, DynamoDB, I guess. So that would be actually the alternative we were looking for here. We can actually open a new issue if you wanted to, because that's something we definitely want to do. Just haven't had a chance yet. Come on. Add support. Restore. We'll call it add DynamoDB storage provider support. Go for it. Yeah, I'm adding this regardless. You don't no pressure that you need to work on this one, but we need to actually do it anyway. So cool to have AWS support for our storage provider. All right, that's a good one. I think the other one as well we want to do here is, while we adding these supports here, is that we want to add ability to use AWS S3 as model repository. So that's where we will store our models. To use AWS S3 bucket to store our models. Add AWS S3 implementation of so oh, that's not good. Whereabouts in the world are you right now? US based or somewhere else? Model repository. Canada. Oh, nice. Cool. I'm in the DC area in Washington. Nice stuff. Add AWS S3 of iModel repository. Yep, on the east coast of the US. That's where I'm located. Cool. Do you work in that industry or something you're just interested in? Life cycle, so training time. Okay, nice. That is a good field to be in, I'm sure, right now as well. Well, this is a nice city, for sure. I like it. Oh yeah, of course. They're right there, so. Okay, new time span. We want to do this as... Can we do... Okay, good. So I want to do it as, let's say, 5 minutes. Let's say we train a model during 5 minutes. Expect that, okay? So we'll pass that in here. And why does it not want to work? Hopefully this will work. Yep, spelling issues for sure. But there's something else going on here. Oh yeah, of course, run ID has to go first here. So run. We're going to get back here to run ID. So we'll pass that in as well. It's going to be first one here. And hopefully that should set the training time. So now we want to check here is we want to check if the training time is here. And why are you not working? Oh. Too early in the morning. There we go. Okay. Can't await void. Well, you shouldn't be void. You should give me a task. A support implementation of it. And you should also be async. And I can't believe this wasn't renamed. Okay, there we go. Good stuff. This should be called async now. Alright, so we're passing that through there, working our way there. Okay, so now we want to check the runs here. So we'll do is we'll say we'll get the run from the database now. So we'll say run, we'll get the unit under test. No, actually not. So if you specify a return type of task, all you need to do is await something. You don't actually have to do it either. I think this is going to work fine as well. It's just going to be async. But if you do, if you have like a return type, let's say that this is returning a boolean, what you would do is bool like that, and that will return a boolean. In our case, we're not returning anything. We're just returning the awaitable task here. So task is just saying we're waiting for something here. It won't return null. It will return a handle for the task itself, so a thread. So you know we're doing this async here. So if you're returning a task, it's just returning an awaitable task that you can wait on going down the chain here. So what it will do is that when we call for our test, we can stop on this line and let it do its stuff on multiple threads. And then when it's done, it will pass to the next line here in the list. So we should have a get run here, and we don't have that. So we need to add that to our catalog here. And I thought I had it already, but we didn't apparently. Yeah, I mean, what we're doing right now is adding unit tests to our implementation. So it's not really TDD. TDD is test-driven development, and it's adding tests before, and we're obviously not doing that. So we kind of failed on that already. But what we're doing right now is just making sure our implementation works as expected. And to do this, I need some methods on my interface, because otherwise it's not going to work. But yeah, do you use a lot of TDD? Yes, exactly. I want tests. Exactly, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I just need tests right now. That's all I need, and that's what I'm doing. I'm adding tests to this implementation. Yeah, I mean, tests are an amazing thing. There's a lot of levels of unit tests and integration tests and other kinds of tests. So you should always try to have them if possible. And right now we have some integration tests here. ID. And is it a sync? No, not a sync. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll say, okay, run training time should be expected training time. So this is our test in general here. Cool. Well, welcome as part of the world here. So what we did here is we are creating our dependency. We are creating a run to use. We are setting the training time here, and what we expect is that the training time is properly set in our object here in the database. So let's try to run this and see if this works, or if it just completely fails here. Sounds good. Well, you're more than welcome to join in the fun here. It's a lot of good stuff. Alright, so let's run this test and see if it passes or not. It may just fail, I'm not sure. Disk space is always an issue, right? Okay. Let's see if it breaks or not. This is taking a lot longer than I thought, so maybe it will break. It failed, okay. So what was the issue here? Couldn't create a run. Oh, okay. It's because I changed the model without updating the SQLite dependency, and I'm not sure how to clean that up, honestly. Can we fix that in some good way here? Probably, because right now we have a method on our SQLite metadata store here that should ensure created. Where is that? Here it is, local DB context. So that's going to be an issue if we want to do that. Let's see, is there any way of us to completely migrate this one? Okay, that is good. So I think what we'll do is database ensure created here. We'll say if we need to do any migrations, please apply them. That's a good thing, because we kind of want to just migrate this directly. It's fine. Alright, let's go back to our test here and run these tests that we were trying to get working before and it didn't work. And hopefully that will run this properly and get this working. If not, that's just the way it is. Alright, so hopefully now we should be able to go past run ID. Oh, come on, you're kidding me. Alright, we will be a bit rougher then. We will make sure we ensure deleted first. And then we'll do ensure created. I'll put a breakpoint here, run through this example, and see how it goes. Nice. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Docker images can definitely take up a lot of space. Okay, can you delete? Okay, good. Experiment is easy, that's not the issue. Create run is... Oh, that's not gonna help. This is going to be horrible, I think. Oh, this is not good. Is it every time it's doing that? Yep. Well, that's fine. We will remove it now, because now it should have been deleted. So at least we should have something that is okay. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. I haven't used PHP ever, actually. But I heard it's still used a lot, which is great. It's good with a diverse flora of languages. Okay, come on. I want to get to my test here. Nice, okay. So now we went all the way down here, and that was good. And training time is 5 minutes. Ta-da! It worked. Fantastic. Can't believe that was so hard to do. Alright, so we have a test here, so training time. And now we'll just add a test for if the run doesn't exist. We expect an exception. Cool, okay. Cool stuff. Let me think here real quick here. I'm trying to find an integration test that has a similar implementation here. Okay. I want something like this. So if you don't have a run, what we'll do is create an action here. And this will be, the action will be unit under test, lifecycle, set training time async, run ID, expected. And this will be GUID, GUID, so we just have a simple one here. We'll do an act and assert here. And what is going on here? No run provided. Throws exception. Okay. We'll do an await here. Okay, what is going on here? Something's up. I would love to. I would love to apply the await operator. There's a lot of disks being used there. Okay, can I do this? There we go. Okay, action. What we should have here is SQLite, and we should throw this one. Expected message should be something like this, and do run ID here. I'll say that it's going to be GUID, new GUID, and this will be passed in somewhere here. Alright, so that should throw an accepted message here. So that would be expected message. And it will be an invalid operation exception here. Okay. Let's try that one and see. I think one thing we're doing here is not doing that. I think that will work. Let's try. Let's debug and see. Okay. Okay, so I think better to a variable type func task. Okay. That was a very helpful message actually. Okay, that's good. That was a very helpful message. Okay. Let's try that instead. Maybe that will be better. Who knows? Maybe it won't. Alright, I think that passed. Cool. Alright, so we have our test methods here. I'm happy with that. 2 integration test methods. And we have our implementation in general. So let's look at our changes. Added training time as a time span. And we added the get best run to our storage account here. And we added the methods here. And that's good. Alright, I think we are good here. So I'm going to open a PR with this change and open a review for anyone who wants to review this. So let's first look at where is it? First look at the issue number for this one. That would be add what's it called? Training time, right? That was what I was doing. Run duration. And it's issue 81 that AJ opened. I'm going to take this from him. Create branch. Okay. Bring my changes over. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go get some food in a bit here. I've been streaming since for about 2 hours now. So this is gonna be the last PR thing I'm opening, and I think then I'll do something else. Cool, yeah, definitely grab an issue if you want to. We can look at it together if you like. Let me just open this first. And we can look at it together if you want to. Pushing this up. Let's go back to the repo. To run, I guess. Proper English. So it's going to fix 81, I think. Sword to okay. Alright, so you wanted to grab an issue? Was that it? Anyone in particular you're thinking about that you want to start looking at? $103, yeah. Okay, let me see. 103. Which one's that? See if we can search for it. Okay. Yeah, sure. It's definitely a big one. I guess not super big one, but it's going to be implementing the whole interface for a SQL Server. You can definitely try that. That's a lot of the piping and the structure is already there, and you could probably use a lot from the SQLite one. So I think that would be super useful. If you want to jump on that one, that would be great, honestly. The only thing to remember here is to create some unit tests as well for the implementation. But what you'll be doing is implementing this interface here somewhere. Yeah. So you see this interface. Where is it? Come on. Here we go. You see this interface right here. This is the so-called, we call it metadata store, but what we really say here is it's like table storage of some kind. And our SDK here is using this one to get things from different tables. So what you would need to do is very similar to the SQLite here. So if you look at the SQLite, yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's a big one to start with. It's a good one, but it's a big one to start with. I think, let's see. This one is assigned already. I'll put that to me right now. Okay, let's see. What kind of issue do we have here? That is small. I think I stole the smallest one, I think. Yeah. I think I mean, if you want to try this one, you can definitely do that. I think you will learn a lot by doing this one. And it's actually probably the simplest one of all the ones here. It's pretty big, I know, and right now we don't have any smaller ones. But it's actually not super difficult, so you can definitely try it. And that failed. Come on. What you want to do here is you can just more or less look at this specific one here. There's probably a SQLite here. You want to do a very similar thing for SQL Server. So if you look at this project here and almost create a copy of this project almost, but just for SQL Server, you will probably be on the right way there. So just go ahead and try it. And if you're struggling, let us know, and we will kind of try to help you. But it will be a good one to, I think, for you to just learn the general architecture of the solution. So give it a go. And thank you for wanting to contribute. That's awesome. Very much appreciate that. Alright, well, I'm going to sign off, get some lunch, and get my day going. Thank you for joining in today, and I hope to see you next Tuesday or Saturday or whenever I join for a stream here. So catch you later. Alright, thank you very much.